Global Gridlock Report. India's Supreme Court declares pollution-free living a fundamental right in a landmark ruling. India's Supreme Court has officially recognized the right to live in a pollution-free environment as a fundamental human right. The decision, which comes amid growing concerns over India's environmental crisis, represents a significant legal and social milestone, reflecting the country's urgent need to address the impacts of pollution on human health and well-being. Before we proceed, please like, comment and subscribe to help us with the YouTube algorithm. The ruling aligns with Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, which guarantees the right to life and personal liberty. By interpreting the right to a pollution-free environment under this provision, the court has paved the way for future legal action against environmental violations. It sends a clear message to industries, government agencies, and private entities that environmental degradation will no longer be tolerated without consequence. The case was brought to the court as part of a series of public interest litigations filed by environmental advocates. Their argument emphasized that air and water pollution, rampant in many urban and rural areas across India, severely restricts citizens' ability to live a healthy life. With smog choking cities like Delhi and rivers such as the Yamuna and Ganges facing heavy contamination, the ruling responds to mounting public pressure to prioritize environmental protection. The Supreme Court's decision comes against a backdrop of worsening environmental indicators. India frequently tops global rankings for air pollution, with levels of particulate matter, PM2.5, in major cities far exceeding World Health Organization, WHO, guidelines. Beyond air quality, untreated sewage, industrial waste, and agricultural runoff continue to pollute India's rivers, threatening biodiversity and public health. Legal experts believe that the ruling will empower citizens to hold polluters accountable through lawsuits and public campaigns. It could also compel the government to strengthen environmental regulations and enforcement mechanisms, which have often been criticized as weak or ineffective. Industries with high pollution outputs, including manufacturing and mining, will likely face stricter scrutiny, and compliance with environmental norms could become mandatory rather than negotiable. The decision is expected to have far-reaching implications for policymaking at both state and national levels. The government may be forced to invest more in clean energy initiatives and pollution control technologies, while urban planning strategies could now include a greater focus on sustainable practices. Environmental monitoring agencies may also see expanded mandates, with courts actively reviewing their performance. Although the ruling has been widely celebrated by environmental activists, it has also raised concerns among industrial bodies, which warn that stringent regulations could stifle economic growth. Some business leaders argue that balancing economic development with environmental sustainability remains a complex challenge for India, where millions still depend on traditional industries for employment. International observers have praised the ruling as a model for other countries struggling with environmental crises. With global conversations on climate change and pollution gaining momentum, India's legal stance could inspire similar action elsewhere. As nations prepare for the next round of global climate negotiations, India's declaration reinforces the importance of environmental justice on the world stage. However, activists caution that legal recognition is only the first step toward meaningful change. They emphasize the importance of practical enforcement, pointing out that several environmental regulations in India have historically been ignored or poorly implemented. Without robust monitoring and swift penalties, the court's declaration risks becoming symbolic rather than transformative. The ruling also touches on environmental justice, highlighting the disproportionate impact of pollution on marginalized communities. Poorer populations, who often live in polluted areas with limited access to healthcare, are expected to benefit the most from the decision. Activists hope that the new legal framework will empower these communities to demand accountability and better living conditions. India's Supreme Court has a history of progressive rulings, and this latest decision continues that tradition. By framing pollution as a violation of human rights, the court has redefined the country's approach to environmental governance. It signals that ecological degradation is no longer a secondary issue but a core concern, demanding immediate and sustained action. Global Gridlock will closely monitor the aftermath of this ruling as it unfolds. The legal recognition of the right to live free from pollution is a significant victory, but the real challenge lies ahead, ensuring that this right is protected, upheld, and translated into tangible improvements in the lives of India's citizens. Will India rise to the challenge, or will entrenched interests slow progress? Time will reveal the true impact of this groundbreaking decision.